guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be the OP07 Sky Aggro build of Yamato. I'm trying to make this one a little bit smaller and condensed and give you guys some gameplay, maybe a game or two at the end. If you'd like a much more detailed kind of like how you go over every match and stuff like that kind of video, let me know. I'm kind of working on that in the background as well, but for now I just wanted to make this one so I can show you guys something. And because also it's very straightforward and it's not much different from what you would be running in like OP06 and through EB01 and all that. So I just wanted to give you like a quick rundown of the hands, the new cards that are added from OP07 and how they work into the new, into the meta, and how they can help you beat leaders and everything. And just show you some gameplay hopefully at the end, and that's it. So without any further ado, let's jump in and let's get started. Alright, let's jump in and let's go over the deck list. This is the kind of de facto list that was solidified in OP07. Once again, kind of pioneered by Laundry, a really amazing Yamato player over here in Japan. A lot of people were tweaking stuff at the beginning of OP07, and a lot of people were trying out different events and stuff like that. But he's really the one who kind of figured out like how just useful and how much like combo power this card right here has in this deck, and with this leader, with Yamato. It's like Yamato can use this like no other leader can. There's just so many awesome things that you can do. So it's the demonic Aura 9 sword style Ashura Demon 9 flash. We just call it Makyusen in Japan, in Japanese. So that's what I'm gonna kind of refer to it as. If you yeah, just I'm gonna call it Makyusen. I'm sorry, I'm just so used to calling it that. And then we have Flame Split. I think the official translation is like Blaze Split or something. So I'm gonna call it Flame Split. It's Homurasaki in Japanese, but I'm not gonna. I'll spare you guys that. I'll try and call it Flame Split. Okay. So here, this is the two new cards that obviously why this happened is because Reject is gone, right? Reject was a really good card in Yamato when you run it in an aggro version to help you beat the 5 life leaders. It wasn't a 100% necessary card, but if you're running a more aggro build, it was basically necessary if you wanted to consistently be able to beat 5 life leaders and not just rely on like drawing Rush or like, you know, like drawing Hody exactly when you needed him every game. So the way that this works is, let's go over Makyusen first because it's a 2-cost event. I'll do the effect here. It's activate main, right? Like the effect is up to one of your leader or character cards gain plus 3,000 power during this turn. So like Amaru, right? Then you may rest one of your cost 3 or higher characters. If you did, rest up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or less characters. And the trigger is you can rest up to one of your opponent's 4 cost or less characters. So decent trigger. And the reason that this was getting run over Amaru, because at the start of OP07 people were still running Amaru and they're just like, well, we don't have Reject, so we'll run like more L4s, or like people were immediately using Flame Split. That was immediately being used just because it's a really good card. But not a lot of people were using this. I think I saw maybe like 1 or 2 videos on YouTube of a Yamato deck kind of using this, and it just didn't seem like it was really working. And until Laundry kind of like cracked the code, not a lot of people were actually running this. And the reason, so here's the thing, and hopefully I'll be able to show you in the videos, or like in the gameplay section of this video. But the reason this is so good is because in OP07 there's a lot of 5-cost blockers with Black Yellow Luffy, with obviously Red Purple Law. Red Purple Law also runs the 6-cost Sanji blocker, which is why you just have to have Hody for those like lethal turns and getting around that. But this allows you to and if you want a very detailed, like with pictures and breakdown and everything, go check out the note that Laundry did. I'll have it linked in the description. But he puts out like play situations and shows you like exactly how you can use this in every situation that is like beneficial. But essentially, right, you have Holy and Izo that you are you're playing Holy as much as you can in this, right? You take first. You swing 8k with leader turn 2, and when you have 5 Dawn, you swing 6k with leader, and then you play Holy. Like that's just it. That's just the strongest combo that you can do no matter what, against like almost any matchup possible. And once you have these 2 characters on the field, say you have Holy, and your opponent's already at 2 life if they're a 4 life leader, or 3 life if they're a 5 life leader, right? Then say they play a 5-cost Sabo. You're playing Lucci, they play down a 5-cost Sabo on their 6-Dawn turn, and normally you'd be like, dang, you know, I can play Hody if I have 7 Dawn, but like it's not like if I don't have Hody, or if it's like not gonna have enough power to get over, like if they're gonna have a lot of cards in their hand by that point, so they might be able to just counter out. You won't be able to, you only swing 5 with leader. Like there's a lot of things going on there, right? But if you play this, say you put the 3000 on your leader, rest your Holy, and then you rest your opponent's Sabo, that 5 cost is now rested, and now your leader's an 8k. And let's say if that's your 7 Dawn turn, right? So that's only 2 Dawn, and it's a 2 Dawn event, which means you can just use leader effect and put that 2 Dawn onto Ohm. So let's just say you can even do this. There's like 2 really powerful things you can do here, right? You can put the 3000 on your leader and then put X amount of Dawn on them and just swing huge and get your opponent down to either 1 to 0 life, or you can like strategically go for board and then put the extra Dawn on Ohm. Or with leader effect, or if you're at 7, you can play this, make your leader an 8k, swing with leader, play and put the Dawn on Ohm. It depends if Ohm will be a 6 or a 7 at that point, but you can play ace too. Like if you're at 2 life, there's so many things that you can do here, where if you're at 7 Dawn, you have the 2 and the 5 to spare, you still have leader effect. The other thing is, if your opponent has like a 4-cost and a 5-cost blocker on the field, in this situation, it's not always your 7 Dawn turn. A lot of the times it's a little bit later in the game. You're at like 9 or 10. You can play an Ezo. Say you're playing Law, and they have a 4-cost blocker Law and a 5-cost kid on the field, and they're at 0 life because you got them down early. Things are going pretty well, but then it's like, oh no, I don't have Hody, and I don't have a way to, you know, rest these 2 blockers. But I do have like maybe an Ohm on the field, or you know, I just have leader. Even if you just have leader, here's the crazy thing. Say you have like 9 Dawn, right? You play Ezo for 3, you rest the blocker Law, then you play Makyusen, you rest Ezo, rest the in this situation the 5-cost kid, and at that point, you know, that's 5 Dawn. So if you have 4 left over, your leader is already an 8, and so then you're swinging 12 for lethal, and that's only if you have no other characters on the field. Because you could just put it on, say Ohm's a 6k because you're at 2 or less life. You play this, these is 5 Dawn, right? You have 4 left over. He's a 9k with Makyusen, then becomes a 13k, and then with leader effect 15. And you're swinging 15 for lethal. You just rested 2 blockers. In most situations, your opponent is not going to be able to get out of that, right? And you know, like if things are going even better for you, you already have an ace or you have an Ohm Holy still on the field. A lot of times that doesn't happen. The whole reason you're like comboing with these events is so that you have the ability to always, if your opponent is at 0 life, you have the ability to kind of like go for lethal. And now let's talk about Flame Split, because it's a 1-cost event, main and counter, which is really important here. Give up to 1 leader character plus 1000 power for the turn, not the battle, the whole turn. After this, if your opponent has 2 or less life, rest up to one of your opponent's 4-cost or lower characters. And the trigger is rest a 4-cost or lower of your opponent's characters. Really good. Yes, it's only plus 1k, which can feel like it's not enough sometimes, and I've struggled with Flame Split at times to really just always run it at 4. But here's the thing, is you don't have Ezo, but your opponent's at 2 life, and you have a Flame Split, and then they have a 4-cost blocker. Like, dude, it's so good. It's amazing. This is how Yamato really just could beat up Red Purple Law in OP07, because they're still playing Shiraya, they're still playing Chopper Blocker, they're still playing 4-cost. Some people, not as much, but are still playing 4-cost Law. He becomes more of a staple in 08 once you get Black Maria. But there's still a lot of 4-cost or less blockers that Law is playing. Rebecca in Lucci, because people are shying away from, people don't play, I feel like, Sabo as much. A lot of Rebecca's, people will normally always play for Rebecca, or even the 4-cost Borsellino blockers. Like, you're getting around them with this. It's much harder to take advantage of in fighting against 5 life leaders, because your opponent has to be at 2 or less. So a lot of the time what will happen is You get them down to 3, things are going pretty well, and you're just like, oh my god, if I could just rest that blocker with this, but I can't, I have to get them down again. So if you don't have the resources and the cards and like the characters on board to do that, it can be kind of rough, but at the end of the day, it's still a really good counter. Because here's the thing, is because of Flame Split, you're able to beat Moria a lot more consistently, which was like one of the hardest, if not the hardest matchup in OP06 for like the aggro build. So it's really, really strong for that. And yeah, it's so versatile and so useful, these 2 events here. Like, you don't need Amaru, you can run it if you want. Again, this is all the preference. I ran this list a lot in OP07, but I was really having fun with the Samurai build, so I didn't play Sky Aggro a lot. The thing is the Sky Aggro builds are you're going to beat Law way more consistently. It's definitely favored for Yamato. You're going to be able to beat, you know, it's decent against Lucci. It's probably a better shot against Lucci than the Samurai build is, just because the Samurai build can be too slow sometimes. And if you draw, you know, if they don't get staged right away and you draw like 1 or 2 cards that you really need for the matchup, you're good. You don't even need Kikinojo, right? Like, you don't need the cards that kind of like helped against black in other types of builds. But you are going to struggle a little bit more into an L. You're going to struggle into Bonnie. And like, as always, your rough matchups are still rough. They're just, some of them are like slightly easier, right? But the thing is like, it's really good against Law. It's decent. It's good against like Boa, like Hancock. If they can't remove things fast enough, or if they don't have the counter to keep countering out of leader swings and stuff like that, it's decent. And this is really good against Black Yellow Luffy. It's decent. Samurai with Zoro might be better, but this is also decent into Black Yellow Luffy. So, you know, that's 2 out of like the, I guess, 3 or 4 kind of like top decks in OP07 that it's kind of like favored into, especially being favored into Law. If the meta is full of Luccis, this might be the slightly better pick over Samurai, just because it's hard to beat Lucci consistently with the Samurai build. And this one just gives you a little bit more of a shot, and this one can beat Moria more consistently. So slightly better into black, much worse into Bonnie and Enel. Enel is probably the hardest. I'd say maybe Lucci and Enel are probably the 2 roughest matchups for this deck. Like the aggro build in specific, because you don't have your 9-cost Zoros. If your Enel opponent is just seeing the Egghead Luffys, if they're getting Onami triggers and stuff like that, sometimes there's really just nothing you can do and it sucks. But with cards like Makisen, you can always pump. Like, I've played like Frankie and Izo down just because I needed characters on the board, and I've gone for game with like Izo with like double Makisen pumped, like Izo swinging for like whatever 10, 12, 13k, right? It's happened, right? But yeah, those are kind of like the matchup spread there, and I'll just quickly go through the actual cards just to make sure. I'm sure you've seen it by now, but it's Izo, you know, 4 Hody, 4 Ohm, 4 Satori, 4 Shura. I don't think so in this build, if you're running Elthor, I think you should run Shura, just because it's a good turn 1 play if you're going second, if your opponent steals first from you, and obviously getting them out of life is always nice. 4 Holy, 4 Onami, 4 Frankie, 4 Ace, 4 Makusens, 2 Elthors, 4 zero cost, and 4 Flame Splits. Now here's the thing, is a lot of people will try this list and they just go like, dude, I can't. I'm bricking with like 9 events every game. And yes, that is a risk of this, but here's the thing, is like with Yamato, more than any, like Red Ace and Yamato, I think utilize events. They might be the best leaders that utilize events in the entire game, in my opinion. The thing is like, sometimes it's just too many when you don't need them and you're gonna brick, and that's hopefully why you can draw into like a zero cost and just use it for that. But the thing is you might think you have too many events, but really if you're able to use them properly, it might still be able to benefit you. Because the thing with Yamato is like, all you really need, like, you know, a lot of these cards are, you're just using them as counter, right? Like Satori's nice to hit out of life, but it's just a 2k counter. Izo's there if you need the rest, but it's just a 2k counter. Frankie, same thing. The thing is like, if you have like say you have an Ohm, an Ace, and like 3 events, to a lot of people that might be like, all right, that's 4 counterless and 3 events, like I need a mulligan. Sometimes in Yamato that's actually a good hand and you can keep it. And like yes, you just need to hope you hit the Holy or draw into a little bit of counter after that, but you have to have a little bit of a different mindset, and you have to be able to think ahead like 3 to 4 turns of like how you're going to be going for lethal at that point, what you're going to be swinging, what you need your leader to be at, what possible characters you're going to have on the board to combo with stuff like Makyusen. I always say this, Yamato's not a brain dead deck because it's so easy to play against Yamato, where like if you're playing black or you have a lot of blockers, like it's really easy to shut Yamato down, and it's up to the Yamato player to like actually be able to like delicately play through everything that's coming at them and like actually make it to where they can go for lethal. Yes, sometimes Yamato just gets lucky, they hit an Onami or they banish a bunch of life and it's like, wow, there's nothing I could do, they drew two Hody Jones, blah blah blah. But yes, I know that is still there, but yeah, there's a lot of versatility, there's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of things that you have to like kind of think ahead on for this deck. But that is the list. I will shut up and stop talking about it. I do have one more list that I want to show you guys before we go into the hands and mulligans. Okay, so this is a list that is similar to like some things that I liked to tweak into there. I am a Straw Sword stan. If you would be so mind me being so humble as to say, I am a Straw Sword stan. I love this card so much. I want to run it at 16, you know, but I can't. In this build, if you're running L4, like I said before, if you're running L4, you should run Shura, because there's no point in running 2 of them and being able to like, it's already kind of risky playing 2. You're just kind of knowing that you can search it off of Shura, and that if it comes, right? But if you're willing to kind of lose the consistency of seeing L4 and not having that just a little bit extra, the 4K, potential 4K counter to help you survive, which is very important, why this is a little risky. If you want to be a little bit more forward and like just really just go for it, I think Straw Sword is a good addition, and you can tweak these ratios like to how you like. I think Makyusen, you have to keep at 4. If there's a lot of Moria, you have to keep this at 4. If there's a lot of blue Dofi, Flame Split is also really good. But I've done times where I take Flame Split down to 3. I'll do 3/3 between Straw Sword and Flame Split, and then you'll notice Shura is gone, and I added in 2-cost Shirahoshi. I'm also a 2-cost Shirahoshi stan. This card can single-handedly just win you the game against Lucci. You can play it early. If you take second, or you have to go second, you want to go first against Lucci. But if they take first from you, and if they know the matchup, they should always take first from you as Lucci playing against Yamato. Especially in OP08, but I believe it's still true in OP07. I mean, it depends on your build and what you want to do, right? I don't want to tell you what to do as a Lucci player, but Yamato is always stronger going first, just so that we can get the first AK attack through, and so we can swing 6K and play Holy. It's just normally the strongest move you can do into any matchup. But Shirahoshi is really good because it just, you know, black has no way of getting around this. They have no way of getting rid of it unless they want to give you a life, and that can be so huge. That can give you the opportunity to play 2 Hodis instead of just 1. That can give you the opportunity to survive another turn, get more characters on board, or like draw into the ace that you really needed. There's just so many things. The other thing too is it's actually pretty decent in a lot of niche situations where you're just like, a lot of people aren't expecting blockers out of Yamato, especially if they see you're running the Sky Aggro build. And I know myself and a lot of friends, a few friends that I know over here that play Yamato, love this tech just because in certain, against like aggro builds of other leaders and stuff like that, or just times when you don't want your leader to get that free like 5 whatever 6K swings in to like, you know, chip away at your life. Just having the Shirahoshi there is really nice. Obviously, you're not playing this against Red Purple Law, but that's okay because you don't need it to be amazing in every single matchup. 2-cost Shirahoshi is a little bit controversial, I feel like, in certain leaders and stuff, but in Yamato, I think it's really strong. You need the help against black, and Kikunojo is awesome, and I want to run Kikunojo in this build too, but there's already so many counterlists that if you introduce Kikunojo, it just becomes like a bit of a hybrid build, which is not what I'm here to talk about, so I'm just keeping it to this, okay? But this is like a slightly customized build that I really like in OP07. Of course, it depends on the meta. But like even against Bonnie and certain leaders, like just having that blocker there is really nice. And there's a few times where you're gonna see like, man, if I just had a chump blocker or something there, I would have like survived that turn and possibly been able to go for it next turn. Because it's you want to use your Dawn as much as you can on leader and characters, so having to leave one up for L4 is actually a little bit harder than it seems. So you're kind of making a judgment call where you're like, I lose the 4K counter with L4, but I have the more potential protection with Shirahoshi. So that's kind of the way I think about it. But that's it for the builds. Let me show you the hands and the mulligans real quick. All right, not much has changed from OP06, so I'm not going to go into this like in too much detail. But obviously these are your key cards. With Yamato, it's always just like you want a decent balance of your key cards. So a lot of matchups like Red Purple Law, it's basically just mulligan for Hody. Against Lucci, I think it's really good. I like Holy and Ace. The early rush is really strong against Black. Obviously having Hody late game is a little bit more important just to close out the deal. Like if you're playing against Moria, you want a lot of Flame Split. Moria, I would say Holy Flame Split is what you want to prioritize, and then Ace if you can. Black Yellow Luffy, Holy, Holy, Ace, and like a Makusen would be pretty good. Enel is gonna be Holy Nami, and then you know having an Ace would be pretty decent too. But some Enels are gonna starve you, so you might have to play Hody to get yourself down. Otherwise, they're just gonna keep KOing all of your characters. But Holy Nami for Enel for sure. And then I hope I'm not missing any other ones. But if you're curious about something or have more specific questions, just let me know. But you have your few power cards for each matchup, and you just want to have at least one or two of them. That's like the dream, right? Obviously, this isn't gonna happen every time. You're gonna get like 3 events and 2 cards that you don't really need, like 2K counter or something. You're gonna mulligan into like a 2K counter, a 0 cost, Flame Split, Makusen, and Holy, and you're gonna be like, damn, this sucks. And it's it's hard sometimes, but you have to like be able to navigate that and like make the smart decisions of what to do from there. And but even the most like harrowing, like seemingly impossible hands with Yamato, you can make work. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it for the hands and mulligans. That's it for the deck lists. I didn't want to take too much time there. I hope it wasn't too long. Let's jump into some gameplay so we can actually show you guys how this deck works. All right, Bonster. I think we still want to go first here. This is okay. Well, we really want Hody. This is still better though. This is still better. We really want Hody. We're gonna swing AK. We'll play Holy. This is not bad. This is not bad. Got the scratch, man. So it's the age-old question: do we swing face or go for the searcher? For Yamato, if I'm going first, I'll probably just go at face. It really depends on the cards in your hand. Like, if I think like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to play a character for like 3 turns, there's worlds where I'll just go. Samurai build is a little bit nicer for that because normally you have like something you can swing into it a little bit earlier on. All right, they got the dish. Oh my gosh, we're just too good. Oh, and we got another one. It's like, hey, if you felt bad for using that on just a Bonnie, here's another one. The card gods are smiling upon us today. Wow. Okay. Oh, I tried to play Onami. All right, so that's pretty ideal. Like literally, the only thing we need now is a Hody, and we can go for it. Because if he plays Hawkins here, I'd love to play Hody. The thing is I might just play Holy again. Damn, he's going 7. Really wish you weren't. 7 and a Rouge. We don't have Hody, so we can take this. Yeah, that's fine. We have to take Elthor. It's the only option. Ooh, Rouge, what have you done? All right. This is decent. Is there a world like the pressure of the next turn? If they throw it on an 8-cost kid, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Man. We could bait them to take this life. No. I want to flame split that Arouge. We could, if we EZO this Arouge and get rid of it here. Oh, there's too many choices. There's too many choices. I think... Alright, I don't hate this. I don't hate this. I don't hate this. Because he might just have to block this. There was a lot of choices we could have done there. Getting ace on the board is actually really strong too, especially if they're going to play 8-cost kid. Having the higher power ready to go is really important. And then we'd keep this in hand as counter, obviously. Resting ohm. That's what we would expect. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, it's like, you know that's going to happen. You're going to send all your hoodies and everything to the bottom, but it's just kind of what we got to do right now. Okay. If I was 5-head, I would have just left one Dawn up because we would have assumed he'd probably take that, and then I could have protected a potential 5k swing here. Oh, he doesn't have 8, he only has 8 Dawn, so 8-cost kid's not that great. But I could have rested. Just, it's a little risky, but it should get the counter either way. So it could have been a good play, but we did get the extra counter out by swinging with 8. I was hoping the 8 would force him to block, but I guess he has a lot of cards. I was just hoping he would just kind of take the bait there. We have flame split, so we can counter out of this with EZO now. That's fine. That's totally fine. I think Cavendish, okay, that's pretty good for him. I think Cavendish might have been the better play, to be honest. Man, that would have been really awesome if we had the EZO into flame split. That kind of would have been pretty sweet. But we're playing ace instead. I think I'm only gonna swing 7 here. And I'll have 2 more Dawn plus leader effect. I'm going with leader. Let him rest ohm. It's fine. Him not having Hawkins or anything on the board is pretty good for us. Yeah, okay. He blocked. In that case, I am tempted. But I also want to leave this up. Leave up 2 Dawn. That's true. Leaving up 2 Dawn would be probably the smart play here. I think we can whittle them down here. I think just the safer play, because if he has a Hody or something, we would just lose, right? Do we swing 5? No, I think 7 and 7 is better here. Yeah. He might have to take both of these if he has too many bricks, because he's giving us a lot of counter already. Ooh, that's what we like to see. All right, and then leave up 2. So, and this is his blocker. So luckily for us, he's not swinging that with that first. The only bad thing is, like, if he swings like an 8 first or 9. Okay, 9 kind of sucks. No, actually, this is fine. Does he go to 6? Oh, this is perfect. That's kind of insane. Yeah, that's actually really good. He probably has Hody. That's why we did that, man. That's why you do that. That's why you do that. I think if we had used those Dawn, that would have gone through. Well, I don't know if he's expecting to have finished off with a 5k with his leader. Not sure. Maybe he just did that because we had the 2 Dawn up. Oh, and the GG, or the instant disconnect. Oh man, so he had everything, right? I think he probably got these out of life, and he might have just drawn into one of them the turn before. Yeah, see, this is what I like doing against Bonnie though, is we could have played Ace earlier, and let's just be clear. I got double Ohm Holy, and I hit an Onami trigger out of life. That's really lucky. But we took advantage of that, and we played it smart. Because I think if he had split up his Dawn differently, and seeing how I was only getting 1k of counter out of life, like there's a world where I just lose, right? Because we know he has Hody, or we're expecting him to have Hody. So, like even with the good fortune we had for this game, I could have lost. I definitely could have lost. But like I was gonna say, is I could have played Ace earlier, but just getting the extra bodies on board to the point where it's like, at a certain point, when you're swinging 5Ks against Bonnie, and they're losing the counter, because you know they're losing counter. This is the thing against Bonnie too, is most people are running a lot of top end. You don't know what it is, but they're running at least like 8, 9, 10 big boy counterless cards, and they're only running between 8 to 10 2Ks is pretty safe range for most Bonnie decks, and you can take advantage of that by seeing okay, they're discarding counter all throughout the game. Getting these little chip shots in is actually stronger than it seems, and that's why Bonnie's leader effect is so strong, is because normally your opponent doesn't have 5 characters on board, and they can just rest 1, so that you only get 1 or you only get 2 attacks in maximum, and it kind of allows Bonnie not to have to run 12 2Ks and stuff like that, right? But yeah, I think first is better. We didn't even see Hody, but they didn't even play their Hawkins, or I don't know if they had the opportunity to play it. I don't know when they got these. And then putting them on the even curve like that too just means they can't play Kid out on their 8 Dawn turn and still use the effect, right? So just a few things to consider there. I would say normally mulligan for Hody, but the next best thing is obviously just Ohm Holy Ace. Ohm Holy Ace, that's all you really need. As long as you can get a little bit of luck, you're good. Don't worry, don't try too hard to get a banish swing in or whatever, but just adapt to the situation and just play it the best you can. Rush is amazing against Bonnie, so that's why 5-cost Ace is so good. And yeah, that's about most of the tips and everything I have for that. So GG's to that guy. Alright, Luchster. He's going second. That's good. We want first anyways. I think Lucci has more of a argument to go second, maybe in OP07, but in OP08, when you have Jack, going first is really strong. And against Yamato, I think I would still say going first is better. Oh, those are some nice. Rebecca and Trash is good for him, but the other two are good for us, like Mills. We have Ace here. We're just gonna play. Oh my gosh! All right. This is decent, bro. This is decent, I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna swing 6K, play out. Oh, he got a Sabo in the trash. Okay, that's pretty good for him, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, all right, we don't need any more. Please stop. We have all the rush cards that I need. We need to hit Holy here. Oh, no good, boys. I don't got that dog in me. Damn. Well, Ohm's gone. That sucks. He doesn't have stage yet, but I mean, all he has to do is leader attack in Kaku. So he'll probably swing 6. Or if he wants to play Sabo here, I guess he's in a little bit of a tough choice. I don't know, you got 8 cards. It depends how much counter he has in hand, honestly. If he has a lot of counter, I say just Kaku. Oh, okay. Interesting. We don't mind taking this one. We will KO that Rebecca though. That's gonna make my job. Oh, the finger gun. Finger gun. Forgot about that. Definitely more people in the West playing that than were in the East. I think it's pretty good. I like finger gun. People were playing it at the start of OP07. I think it kind of just transitioned out a little bit. But it's nice. It's nice. It's hard to run that in 6-cost Brook though. I feel like you're already running so much non-counter at that point. Man. Nah, we need Ace. We need Ace. I was debating playing Ohm there for a second, but this rush is just going to be so strong. Aye. When you're playing against Yamato, and you know it's the Sky Aggro version, be careful how quickly you're getting them down to 2 life. If you really want to hurt a Yamato player, sometimes you're in a better spot to just get them to 3 and then set up a stronger board yourself. There is risk to that as well, I understand, but just be conscientious of it. Because as a Yamato player in a Sky build, I'm just going to take those 2 life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you swing 5. Or, well, if you swing 5, I might count out on 1. But if I have ace and I want to play him, I'm going to take it, you know. 7? He's not playing Jack, I'll tell you that much. I guess we have to watch out for Isho too, because he's playing Isho. Oh, that hurts. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But we can just do this, man. Have a little bit of counter. Yeah, we have enough counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, this is why ace is just so goated in Yamato. If he didn't have enough counter there's a world we just win right there. All right, so like, here's the thing. Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way. GG's. That was pretty ideal for us. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. We got first. Oh my god, we had 0 cost as our last life. Like, bro, just call it quits. Call it quits. Wow, yeah. I mean, so no stage early. It's the dream. Their first mill was like Moria and Brooke. They had the Rebekahs, so it didn't even matter that there was one in trash. I think it looks like they milled Moria off a finger gun. Like, I don't know, man. Everything went our way. So this is ideal. But if the Lucci player takes first and they set up like Spandam and then play 3-cost Brooke and then play like Rebekah or Sabo on their 5-Don turn, things can get pretty dicey because they don't mind. Like, if we don't hit Shura going second turn 1, and then we have to just do a 9k swing turn 2, not play any bodies on the board, and say they hit stage or something, so that they can play on turn. I know going second is still really nice for Lucci for a lot of curves like Isho, Moria, and stage, but playing stage, swinging 6k and playing stage on your turn 2 going first as Lucci, not the worst thing in the world, right? Or playing a Spandam and playing stage, like, you still have a lot of really nice like turn 1 through 3 plays that you can do. So if you're a Lucci player watching this, I'm gonna give you a little secret. Probably just take first against Yamato. It's gonna help you out a lot. The Sky aggro build definitely struggles. It looks like we would be okay because like, oh, I'll play Shura and then I'll play but if you're not attacking and getting that first leader hit through, it's a little bit risky for us as well as the Yamato player. But GG's to that guy. Not the I mean, it wasn't the worst in the world, I'm not gonna lie. You don't need stage to beat Yamato, that's for sure. But yeah, maybe I think we just had the better cards come our way for that one, and we just played it well. But GG's to that guy. All right, Hancock, we will go first. This actually isn't too bad, but I'm gonna mulligan. Ace there is actually really strong. I think this is probably a little bit better though. From my experience, 10-cost ace is actually really strong against Hancock too, when I use him in Yamato or other decks. I find that it really helps late game to keep yourself alive and just apply that little pressure that by that point they normally can't get over. Okay, so they got that Hancock. Gotta watch out for pudding. I'll say that now, and then like 3 turns from now I'm gonna have like 9 cards and they're gonna pudding me. I feel like I forget more on the sim. So looking at our hand here, I mean, we kind of don't mind taking this too, because they're probably gonna play Jinbei here, right? Oh, we got the Hodester. Satori out of life would have been amazing there if they played Jinbei and something else, because at least we have some. Oh, all right. I mean, there's not much we can do at that point, right? But he didn't play a blocker, so I think I'm just gonna do that. Is this the same hand? Like, what the hell, man? We can swing 9 though. I think this is probably better, just because we have so many of these. If only you could use leader effect on the leader. Yeah. There's no oh, that's amazing though. That's beautiful. I was like, there's no world where they don't have the counter for that, but somehow apparently I guess only having 2K is insane, and losing Moria, which is what you need to get these out of the trash, and then 2 Jinbeis, like, I don't know. If that guy could have gotten rid of other cards, I maybe would have done that, but the pudding kind of hurt, but I wanted to use that ace. I definitely could have countered out, so if we lose, maybe you could consider that a little bit of a misplay. You can go 7 here. I think we have to counter. If he plays another Dofi, that kind of sucks. Yeah, okay. Alright, we got a Hody. Ooh, piece of candy. Alright, don't have too much. Another Onami would go pretty ham. Let's see, I kind of want to keep 1 up for Elthor. Hopefully he takes this. And then we could 5 into Dofi, kind of sucks. We can test the waters first. We could, I want to sing 6, but then we're only swinging 7 with leader. But then we put them in a really terrible position. I think I'm okay with this. Especially seeing how much counter they didn't have originally. This might even go through. Yep, okay. We read it. Read it like a book. Read it like a book. Wait, dude. Oh no, my Ezo. That actually does suck. But we got Hodester and a Makusenster. Demon 9 Flash. I don't know. Let me know what you guys are calling this over in the West in English. If you don't call it Makusen. It's just one of those ones, kind of like Amano Murakumo, where it's just like, well, you say the Japanese on that one, even for the English, right? For the Western speakers, the English speakers, but I mean, Demon 9 Flash, Ashura. I see some people call it Ashura. Demonic 9 Sword Style. Demon Eyes. We call it Snake Eyes. They call it Snake Eyes because, well, it gives you snake eyes. So at this point, whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. I think we're okay taking this. Hey, and we get really lucky. That's cool. Frankie's such a G. I was really hesitant to run 4 of him over like, I don't know if it was Hiyori. There was another card. Oh my god. No, that's not worth it. Just or beige or like a different 2K counter, right? I was kind of hesitant at the beginning. Now that we have this, dude, I don't think we play Hody. I think we just do this. We can go 9. Hopefully we just don't get another trigger. And then we can go 8, 10, 9 and 10. Maybe not the smartest, not the best, but we just, I mean, he could have gotten some decent counter out of that too, but you know what? I didn't think about leaving 1 up for L4. I forgot about that. So hopefully this goes through. Okay. GG. Oh, they just disconnected. Oh, they're in that Dofi. That's interesting. Wow, they had just so many bricks. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. I was gonna leave up 1. Even if we had sung 8, it still would have gone through. Little miscalc on my end, but I don't know. We were just reading it. We were reading it pretty well, right? And we could just tell from that first attack when they had to do a 2K and 3 1Ks or whatever it was, or 2K 2 1Ks. It was like, and 2 of them were Jinbei. It's like, yeah, that's not good. But yeah, GG's to this guy. That is basically how you just approach Boa, you know. Try and get first. That always helps. Getting Ohm Holy is nice. Watch out for Pudding. I didn't expect them to play it that early. I think that was a risky move on their part, but actually kind of worked out for them. And yeah, hope you don't brick like this guy did. I don't know if the 7 cost Ophi is worth running in Boa, but it's definitely a little spicy. And yeah, they should have just kept their Jinbeis, taken the first hit, kept their Jinbeis. I think was it Banish though? That might have been Banish. Yeah, hard choice then. But GG's to this guy. Thanks for playing. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I think we got some good games to kind of highlight and showcase what this deck looks like when it's performing well, and how you can beat leaders that would be normally considered like unfavorable matchups for Yamato. I know a lot of people aren't really playing Yamato that much in the West, but it's still really strong. Really strong leader, and if you just practice your matchups enough and you know what to do, make little tweaks based on the meta and like what you see coming and what you think is going to be there. Like it's so versatile. Yamato is incredibly versatile, and I think is still really strong in the OP07 meta. Let me know if you like this list, what you would change, what you would tweak, if you like the other kind of like customized list that I show with Straw Sword and Shirahoshi. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.